we are diving deep into the mindset you need to have when you're in foreclosure. In particular, we are talking about being seasonally selfish. Yes, you heard me say it. I said selfish. I didn't say be selfish forever, but I said be seasonally selfish. And so in a previous podcast, we talked about the 5 things you need to do when you get a demand letter or when you get that sheriff knocking at your door saying, hey, you have been served. Right. And just to recalibrate and just to kind of catch you up, if you didn't hear that podcast, the 5 things you need to do are 1, open the mail. Right. It seems like a simple concept, but a lot of people get tripped up because they don't open the mail. It's mail piling up, bills piling up. They stop opening it. So the first thing you need to do is open the mail. The second thing is process your emotions. Foreclosure is an emotional situation. And we're going to dive more into that today. So I'll leave it there, but just keep in mind, you have to process your emotions. Number 3 is verify the documents are legitimate. There are tons of scams going on in today's society, and you need to make sure that the documents you're receiving are legitimate. Number 4 is contact your loan servicer or the attorney who provided you the documents. And number 5 is make a plan and get help, right? So that's a recap of a previous podcast episode we did of the 5 steps you need to take. You can feel free to click the link below and check out that podcast if you did not hear it. But today we're talking about your emotions and what you do with those emotions and how to process those emotions. And one of the concepts that I want to dive into is a concept I have coined called being seasonally selfish. In our culture, we are taught that being selfish is bad. And I am a believer that it is better to give than to receive, and that being generous is definitely a gateway to receive more blessings, right? So don't misconstrue what I'm saying and don't turn me off now because you're saying, hey, what this guy is saying is not for me. No, I'm saying that when you're in a traumatic situation, when you are going through foreclosure, when you are facing financial difficulties, when bills are mounting up and your back is against the wall and you feel stressed out, that is a time that you can be selfish. And it's not being selfish forever, it's being selfish for a season. So my definition of being seasonally selfish is focusing only on your problems for a specific period of time. I'm going to repeat that so you can really understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that you are focusing only on your problems for a specific period of time. I want you to think about it like this. If you think about an athlete, when an athlete gets injured from their sport and they want to get back and go play the next week, right? They stand the chance to do more damage to their bodies and permanently take them away from the sport they love if they don't rehab, if they don't take a few games off, or maybe even a season off to rehabilitate themselves. And that's the same thing I want you to think about, and the same thing I want you to do if you're in a financial situation that is stressful. If you're facing foreclosure, you may need to be seasonally selfish. And so what does that look like? What does that entail? How do you become seasonally selfish? There are really key 3 steps to being seasonally selfish. And the way you have to look at this is that you are doing what's best for you during a difficult time period. So the first thing I want you to do is lose your ego. I'm going to repeat that because it's important. I need you to lose your ego. A lot of us are used to being the saviors. A lot of us are in the financial situations we're in because we have a bravado. We have a pretense of how our financial situations look. We drive the newest cars, we live in the nicest houses, or everybody comes to get their problem solved. And so we like that. We like feeling like, hey, we have made it. For some of us, we are the first ones in our family to own a home. We are the first ones to achieve that American dream of home ownership. And saying that, hey, I'm in a financial situation that's tough, I'm having stress financially as well, saying that messes up that ego, messes up that bravado, messes up that shield that we put up and that pretense that we put up for people. And this financial situation could be something that's new to us, right? It doesn't have to be something that's ongoing. It could be, oh, we just lost our job, or, oh, we just had a health situation. And let me reiterate, if you're in a tough financial position or you are facing foreclosure, it's not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you do nothing about it. And that's the real important thing. Hey, we all go through ups and downs in our lives. No one's life is perfect. And you need to know that just because you are in a situation where you may have a little blimp on your financial scorecard, or you may miss some payments, that does not mean life is over. And so you are not a bad person if you're going through foreclosure. You are only going to jeopardize your life and your situation if you do nothing about it. And so being seasonally selfish starts with losing your ego. The next thing you need to do is worry about yourself first. Again, this is going to be very hard for some of us because we are used to being the ones who worry about everyone else. We are busy fixing other people's problems while our problems are mounting. In my experience in working with thousands of homeowners who have faced foreclosure, I have heard stories time and time again of people who have given their last to other people who have given out of their retirement account to help somebody else start a business, or to help their kid purchase their first home, or just to loan a friend or borrow a friend money, right? And so I have heard these stories of people who said, hey, I thought that business idea was going to be a great business idea. I really believed my buddy when he said that he would pay me back in 60, 90, 120 days. But they never got the money back. And now that person's gone. They're MIA. Poof, you can't find them. And so at the end of the day, you need to worry about yourself. Next thing is you need to learn to say no, right? That's going to be hard. Saying no is hard. When your friends are asking you, hey, do you want to go out to eat with us this evening? You're usually the one who's picking up the tab. You may have to say, no, I don't want to go out. I'm meeting at home. Or you may have to say no to that country club membership, or no to playing golf, or no to buying that new car. At the end of the day, you will have to say no more than you say yes. But what you're saying no to is you're saying no to all this other stuff, and you're saying, yes, I want to keep my home. You're saying no to all the other drama and all the other stuff that comes along with being out and being the person who's in charge, and saying yes to saying, I want a place that's secure. I want to keep my home. I want to save my house. And so keep that in mind, is that the 3 steps to be seasonally selfish are: 1, losing your ego; 2, worrying about yourself first; and 3, saying no. The views and opinions on this podcast are for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice. If you have a specific legal question, we highly recommend you contact a qualified legal professional.